Welcome to Anecdotes for Success with Matt and Paul. Storytelling is an art form, emphasizing the value and learning that is created through personal experience. Our purpose is to share these stories and experiences with the listener. Everyone has a powerful testimony. Let's use them to level up to our best life with truth, meaning, trade-offs, and perspective.
Big shout out to Isaac Mather for the new podcast intro. You can check Isaac's music out on all socials or directly at isaacmathermusic.com. All right, we have Abe Johnson on tonight. Can't wait for Abe to share his story. I've already asked him 8,241 questions when we went out to lunch a month ago. Abe's at school at UB right now, correct, Abe?
Yep.
Thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And like I said, you remember Matt from the classroom. Abe's a New Visions alumni.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just get going. Tell us, let's start after high school. You came to my program. The viewers have heard me talk about that a lot. But what did you do for a summer job? And go through the process
after high school.
Well, no, go through the process since high school, what you've been up to. Yeah, and we'll get to what you did this summer.
So after high school, I volunteered to I was like a tennis coach for kids right after high school. That's what I did all summer pretty much. And I was volunteering, so I didn't get any money for that, but it was a lot of fun. Then when I was done with that, I went to school at CCC studying engineering science. And then this summer I went to Alaska on the fishing boat. And then now I'm at Buffalo.
So tell us the thought process. That's why I mean, you did something this summer that most kids a year or two out of high school don't do. I mean, I don't think they do. Maybe it's more widespread than I think. What was the thought process about saying, "Hey, I'm going to go work on a fishing boat in Alaska"?
So I had a friend that did this when he was 16, and we're the same age, so it's like 3 years ago.
16?
Yeah, he started at 16. So he went fishing. And I always thought it was really cool. He always talked about how hard it was, but it was really rewarding. And I was like the summer before, I wished I did it. I was like, man, I should have asked him, but it was too late at that point. So I texted him and like, hey, can you give me a spot? He's like, yeah. And then I talked to the captain, met the captain just on the phone. I didn't actually know what he looked like until I met him at the airport when he picked me up. But yeah, I knew I wanted to do something challenging for myself because I think that's really important for people to do, to challenge themselves. And it was definitely challenging. I will say that definitely grew me up a lot really quickly.
Hey, before you get into that, so you're out of high school, you go to Corning Community College for a year, right?
Yeah.
And then you go and you work on this fishing boat. But I mean, tell us what it was like. I mean, I assume you're sitting in a leather chair and in a climate controlled area the whole time and getting paid $100 an hour and just bobbing around some lake, or do I have that wrong? I bet I have it wrong.
Well, so I didn't really fit in the bunks. So I had to sleep in what we call the stateroom, which is like a closet. And there's like a bunk, and then there's another bunk, but the top bunk was a storage rack. So when I first got there, we had to clear that second shelf out because also had stuff on it. So that's what we did like the first day after like I had like 35 hours of flying. Well, like flying in layovers and stuff, but I was exhausted because I could not sleep because I was nervous. Uh, but yeah, we cleaned the deck. I mean, sorry, we cleaned the bunk out, and I put my sleeping bag in there, and we just sleep in the sleeping bag. Um, it definitely wasn't the best conditions ever, but it was a lot better than a lot of other boats I saw. Like it was so tight in there for me that if I wore a hat, like the button of the hat would scrape the ceiling and I wouldn't be able to stand. That's how like close I was to the ceiling. Uh, but yeah.
What were you guys fishing for? What were you doing?
So we were fishing for mostly pink salmon.
Okay. Why?
But that was just kind of what we catch. We catch the most of that. Uh, yeah.
Was it
I mean,
is it
we
'cause
caught all types of salmon, but
okay. Was
yeah,
that the most marketable fish? The most, I mean, like, so you're out there, you're going there. Abe, I don't know anything about what you did.
yeah.
Nothing. So, other than you were on a boat. So,
Mhm.
you know, so you were fishing for salmon, pink salmon,
Yeah.
and how many hours, how many days a week you work? How many hours a day? Do you guys stay out on the boat overnight, or how's that work?
So the first month I was there, we just stayed in port the entire time. We never left. We just worked on the boat and like got it ready.
Wow.
Um, so after a month, we finally left, and uh, you don't really know when you're gonna fish. Like you know the day before. That's it. Um,
Who
so
makes that
there's like an
decision? The
announcement on
captain?
a website. And what'd you say?
Who makes that decision? The captain?
No, it's called the ADFG. I don't know the acronym, but that was just the website I remember. And they just tell you when and where you can fish.
Oh, wow.
And you're told how long. They'll say 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours.
Really?
Yeah. And they're very strict on when you can fish and where.
So
Like
there,
you can't,
go ahead. Go ahead.
you
First
cannot
of all, what was it called? The
ADFG.
ADFG. Okay, sorry.
Um, so yeah. So a 12-hour would be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then a 14-hour would be 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then a 16-hour would be 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Wow.
So
And
yeah.
you would your boat or your captain would be alerted by this, saying
Mhm.
basically now you can fish these whatever the time. And it is the reason behind that to control the population
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not overfish. I would imagine.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
What
Yeah.
where did you fish? I have the website up on my computer here and it's giving me fish counts for different locations.
So we fished in Prince William Sound, and the port we were based out of was Cordova, Alaska. So um, that's like if you look at Alaska, it's like the peak of it's like the apex of the crest at the bottom, which is directly like in the middle. So
Yeah, I
that's where we.
remember to get off Tascodal, I was out there for some of the time you were out there. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, Abe's not too far from me. Maybe I can visit him. There was no way to get there by a road.
Yeah, no. They call it No Road Alaska. No Road, sorry, Cordova. No Road Cordova. Yeah, that's what they called it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, so there's there's this is interesting. There's a lot here. So you're there the first month. You're just cleaning up the boat,
Mhm.
getting ready to fish, and then what? One day there's just the alert, and it's like, hey guys, it's time to go. Is that how it
Pretty
works?
much, yeah.
Okay.
I
And then,
They were actually leaving, and my boss called me, and he's like, "Get down here!" And I'm just like sprinting back on the dock, and they like drive by, and I have to jump on while they're moving. So
wow, exciting
yeah,
beginning, right?
yeah, for
And at
sure.
this point, you've never done it, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of, I assume you've been getting stories from the more experienced people, how what you're going to be doing, all that, but you haven't
Yeah.
done it yet.
Yeah.
So what was that like? Like, so you jump on the boat and then off you go. How far away do you go?
Uh, Usually 6 hours,
Oh,
6 hour
wow.
drive. I mean, the boat only goes 6 knots, so that's like uh 4 miles an hour or something.
Okay.
So it doesn't go
So
very fast.
right. So maybe 25 miles out there or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then what are you fishing with? Are you you like how what happens now when you start fishing?
So we did commercial purse seining, which is where you basically have one half of your net attached to a smaller boat. It's called the skiff. And then you detach the skiff from the boat, and then the skiff will drive and make a U formation with the net.
Okay.
And then the fish will swim in, and then eventually the skiff will come around to the boat, and then you'll cinch up the bottom of the bag and you'll pull all the fish on board.
Okay. So it's net fishing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gotcha. How you let's say you had a good haul or whatever. How many fish are we talking here?
Uh, 20,000 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
How big is a pink salmon at how many pounds would one be approximately?
5, 7 pounds.
Okay, so if it's five, that's 400 fish, right? No, 4,000 fish.
4,000. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, Paul. It seems like a lot of fish.
Now that
Yeah.
had to be quite a scene. So then they're all just flopping for their life and
Yeah.
gasping. So then what happens when they come on board? We'll go with this for a little while.
So once they get on deck, you get ready for the next set, and everyone's ready, you set again, and then you put the fish in the hole, in the fish hole. The video I can probably show you.
So there's holes like in the boat that the fish can kind of in, and they have. I, I I I can't explain it well. I think I've seen them though.
So
Yeah,
let me
I
let
can't
me
share my screen.
yeah, let me that's what I'm trying to do here. Let's do this. It's gonna take me a minute, Abe.
Okay.
Share
So Abe,
screen.
Abe, how long would it take to bring the fish on the boat, get the net ready again, and then like how long of a process is that from start to finish? And getting
So
the fish in the hole.
it depends on what where we are fishing, but it's anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to an hour and 15. It's like either
Okay.
or. So
And how many people were working on the boat with you?
so we actually had an extra person. Um, so we had 5 people, including in the captain. So yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
so you're moving a lot of fish with just a handful of people.
yeah, oh yeah.
And
Wow.
how much
So
you should be able to share your screen now. And how much experience did you have before you did this?
I had zero training. Like we were just kind of expected to know how to do it once we got out there, but no one really knew. So it was pretty rough first few days.
Did you get yelled at or
Oh
talking
yeah,
to, I guess?
oh yeah, yeah. You wouldn't even believe it. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Here's the fish getting pulled on deck. Uh, so yeah, this wasn't even all the fish. This was like after like 3 pulls.
Wow. And is that mostly the pink salmon you're referring to?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the weather like most of the time?
It was pretty nice. It pretty much every day was 50 to 60. Um, yeah, 50 to 60. If it was any hotter than that, you did not want to be there. I'll say
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, because you're in rain gear and It gets hot. It's not fun if it's any warmer than 50 or 60.
That was the next question I was going to ask. Why did you wear the rain gear even on a sunny day? I remember you telling me this story.
Uh, Unless you want to get covered in jellyfish, I wouldn't really advise not wearing rain gear
Did you
because you're
get
pretty much
stung at
getting
all?
rained on by jellyfish all day. So eventually I stopped wearing my hood and I just had a hat on and I wore the same hat and that hat is like disgusting. Like it's like crunchy. It's pretty nasty.
So that's just a byproduct of what's in the net.
Yeah. It's mainly jellyfish are the worst. So I got one
Now,
in my shirt one time and that was not really fun.
were they
And if you get
stinging
them in
you?
your eyes, it's also really bad. I only had that happen once.
Well, to me, one seems like too much.
Uh, the guys that were like stacking the net, they pretty much got it every day. I I was lucky. I was I was I was technically the deck boss, but I wasn't really anyone's boss. That's kind of just what you call it. So there's like a lead guy, cork guy, and then the skiff man, and then the captain. So I would just plunge, which is plunging is just it's literally a plunger, but it's metal, and you just smack it into the water, and it makes a loud pop, and it makes a lot of bubbles, and it scares the fish away. And you want that because you try to scare them away from the boat, so then they don't swim underneath the boat and then go back in the net. So
That something tells me that's something that's been around for a long time. It wasn't just a technology that
yeah,
was invented.
yeah. My captain's family has been doing it for like 150 years or something. So
Wow.
they used to haul the net in by hand back at that point. So I can't even imagine that.
Abe, so when you have, let's say, a 16-hour day, fishing day, and you're in the boat driving out to where you're going to fish, it's going to be 6 hours out, and I assume 6 hours back.
Usually you stay out. You don't.
Oh,
We went back into port every like 2 weeks.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, regardless, you're looking at 22-hour days at time. I mean, or are you
Uh,
napping? Are there chance to sleep in between when you eating? How's this? Who's is there a Subway out there floating you can eat at? Like how you
I
eating? How's this
wish.
all working?
Maybe that's a business idea. You should try that. Uh, so pretty much you just stay out. You always went to where you're gonna fish the day before, and then you'd sleep. Start at 6 in the morning exactly. You always have to be out on deck an hour before in rain gear for some reason. I don't know why, but my captain always made us get out on deck in rain gear by 5, which is kind of annoying, but oh well. Um, and for eating, you're you're pretty much you had to make your sandwiches the day before, and like get like I had like protein shakes, like uh, meal replacement bars. I put them in the window, so then I didn't have to go inside and grab them because you're not allowed to have rain gear inside. I got yelled at that for one time, and that was not a good time. Um, and you're pretty much plunging and eating at the same time, or like cleaning the deck, picking jellyfish and eating at the same time. Uh, so yeah, that was the eating when we were actually working. Um, and then once the day was done, you go and you pump off all the fish into a tender. Um, and then once you're done with that, you clean the deck, clean the fish hole. That usually takes about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So you're in rain gear uh, at max, like 19 hours. So yeah, it was a long day, but we luckily we never had to fish back to back days. We always had at least one day off the next day, which
So
was kind of abnormal. But
what would you do on those days off?
We'd pretty much sleep the same amount of hours we worked the day before. So we were sleeping for a while and we ate pretty good. And then we'd like sports fish, so or watch movies, stuff like that. Yeah.
The boat had Wi-Fi?
No. Pretty much everyone had AT&T, and that's AT&T is the only service that works out there.
Oh wow.
So
were you I mean, this sounds like a lot of work, and it clearly is, and it sounds like a very unique, and not what most people have done, or probably most people wouldn't choose to do something that difficult. But you said at the beginning that you wanted to do it because you thought it would be rewarding, and so was it rewarding? And if so, how so?
Yeah, it was definitely really rewarding for me. Like I said, it grew me up a lot. It showed me about the real world. Real world. That was my first time away from home too. So that was my first time out of the time zone. There was a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
Definitely was a good experience for me.
Would you go back and do it again?
I'm thinking about it. I'm like 50-50 right now because I don't think it's worth it money wise. Like it costs pretty much like $4,000 to get up there and get like rain gear, flights, stuff like that. So it's pretty pricey, and that cut into my pay a lot. So it was definitely an experience.
In regards to pay, explain how that works. You don't really make an hourly wage.
So you'll make a percentage off the top, which is after fuel expenses, after just expenses like food, stuff like that. And a crew member makes 8% off the top. So
8% of what? 8% of all the fish you sell?
8% of profit, pretty much.
Profit off selling the fish, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's that pricing come from? Like when do you know that? Do you know that at the end when it's time to leave for when you're done fishing for the whole season, or is it something that's done weekly, or how often is this communicated?
I wasn't really sure. That was one thing I didn't really fully understand. I know it was communicated by the canneries. But yeah, we found out our prices were really bad towards the end of the season. Like it was like half the price of the year before. So that was pretty unfortunate.
Why was that?
I I think it's because they're expecting 90 million pounds of salmon to be caught, and they're expecting that. So I'm assuming they lowered their prices a lot to kind of even it out a little bit. And we didn't even come close to 90 million pounds. So our prices were just really bad. So that was unfortunate.
So you go out there, you spend all that money, and then you're getting profit off of a market you have no control in.
Yeah.
Environment has a lot to do with that. Some days you can't even fish because they're not letting you.
Yeah.
Sounds like there aren't any guarantees in this process.
Yeah, no. My captain said that before I even went up there. He's like,
okay, so he did. He was pretty transparent about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, though, any regrets?
No, definitely not. Really glad I did it.
And how long of a process was this, Abe?
What do you mean? Like
from the day you got on that plane to leave to the day you got back home?
This was 9 weeks.
9 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
And are you you said you hadn't left the area, and are you close to your family? Was it a family decision, something that you would kind of went over with them, the pros and cons, and what did that look like? Or is this just you totally on your own saying I'm going, and didn't really
it was kind of me on my own. I mean, My mom wasn't super excited about it. I'll say that. My dad was all for it, but yeah, my mom was not super excited.
I could see that as a parent, that being a
Yeah,
little bit of a
yeah,
difficult thing, but I think it's great you did it and had that opportunity and whatever money you made, I would probably think, and Paul, you probably agree. I don't know, maybe not, but the lessons you got, the experiences you received far outweigh any kind of
yeah,
you know. I especially when you're young, I say that to a lot of younger people. Say, hey, look, if all you're worried about is how much money you're making, per hour or whatever it is, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities. You're going to
yeah,
miss a lot of experiences, and those things will be worth monetarily far more down the line because of the lessons you learn than the, that income. So I'm sure it sounds like you already see that, but I think that's what a cool experience.
yeah.
If you go back, do you have to be with the same captain or boat? I mean, you're experienced now. You're a professional.
I don't have to, no.
Gotcha.
My friend switched off of that boat and now he's on, it's called the Ace, and he's like a Highliner. He's making crazy money. He made like, I think he made like 40K this season. So for 2 months of work, that's crazy.
So what in fact that's a what little I know about this, I've seen this is all seasonal, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Now, will you fish for those pink salmon and one time a year, and then will I assume this captain, he's got a family and he's got to pay for a boat. No, is he
Hmm.
doing it year round? Is he fishing for other types of things at different times, or how does that work?
I'm pretty sure he does the same type of fish. I know he does different types of fishing. Um, so there's gill netting, and then there's seining. I was doing seining, so I was on a much bigger boat. The gill netting, you can run one or two people pretty easily. So it's a small boat. Um, yeah.
After the 9 weeks, did he do the same thing with another fresh crew, or is that it for that type of fishing?
So I left a little early for college. So this was his first time running with an extra guy. So it was kind of like an experiment for him.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so they finished like 2 weeks after I did. So
Did they stop the boat for you? You have to jump off it like you got on it.
so our last day fishing, I kind of got lucky and our skiff caught fire. So we had to tow the skiff back to town to work on it. And then I didn't have to like I was gonna have to hop tenders to get back, which was gonna be really annoying and a big pain. So that was kind of nice. But
What's hop tenders mean?
so you basically go live on one boat and then you have to jump onto another boat and just leapfrogging boats to
Back
get back to your port. So
that's what I thought. I wanted to clarify, make sure that was right. So that's just kind of a part of that life, huh? Like your other people may have done that on your boat. I don't know,
oh
or
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just what happens to try to get people around, and everyone's kind of cooperating, right? In fact, are, are they cooperating for the most part, or are these? Did you feel like you were competing with some of these other ones? How would that look
We are pretty much always cooperating with everyone because when
like?
you don't cooperate, it just doesn't go well. Like it's not going to help anyone.
In an environment like that, I would imagine cooperate. It's pretty
Yeah,
pretty clear. Without cooperation, no one's gonna succeed as
yeah,
much, and probably people get hurt.
yeah.
I could imagine as
Oh yeah.
well. So what you're going back to college, right?
Hmm.
And you know said it was a rewarding experience. Well, what are the lessons you think you took from it? What do you I remember one of my first jobs, I was pushing carts at Sam's Club in the summer and stacking carts. And if you ask me what my lessons were from that, Abe, I'm not sure I'd have a long list. I mean, I had to be on time and be part of an organization. I had to be reliable and accountable. But
Mhm.
none of those were particular to that that kind of job necessarily. But in this your world, it's so unique. What are the lessons you're taking from this?
Definitely the main thing is it taught me how to work. This was pretty much my second job, and my first job was working at
Mm-hmm.
Gerald's Pharmacy,
Yep.
just cashier.
Okay.
Pretty much it. That was all the experience I had.
What
Uh,
do you mean it taught you how to work? I mean, you worked at Gerald's. When you say that, what does that mean?
just work long and hard hours. Like you don't stop working until when you're tired. You stop when you're done. So definitely very
Why do you think
important.
that's important? Why do you think that's important?
Uh, Definitely helps with assignments. I don't know. I think it's just an important thing to know. Don't stop when you're done. No, don't stop
Don't
when you're
stop until
tired. Stop when
until
you're
you're done,
done.
right?
Definitely. I wrote it
Yeah,
down so we wouldn't mix it
yeah,
up. Do you people around you complaining? Does it bother you more now? Like if they're complaining about something that
yeah.
wouldn't
A
even
little
be
bit, a
wouldn't
little
even
bit. Yeah,
matter when you were on a boat.
yeah, a little bit. Uh, yeah.
I think in terms of our four pillars that Paul and I talk about all the time, this one falls into the category. This particular piece of it is far into perspective more than just about anything else. And it sounds like you gained a perspective on something that you wouldn't certainly wouldn't have had otherwise. In terms of you work till the job's done, right? And
Mhm.
and in an environment like that, there's no one there to save you, right?
Yeah.
There's this is it. This is what I mean. I grew up a little bit in an environment like that as well. Not nearly the same, but I don't. My father was a work till the job's done, not till you're
Hmm.
tired kind of thing. And I think we've gotten away from that a lot
Oh yeah.
in more recent times. And why I asked you the question is what you're going to take from is if you have that, Abe, you're just that much farther ahead than everyone else you're competing with in the job market or anything you do in life. And
Yeah.
you've now got that ingrained in you, I would
Hmm.
imagine, after doing this. And that is going to take you so far.
Yeah.
And to Paul's point, you're probably a little less tolerant of the, oh, I can't, I'm exhausted, I need a break kind of stuff. What a privilege it is, right, to work in an environment where you actually get breaks. And can just stop doing what you want to do whenever you want and ask someone will pick up the slack or we'll get to it later or whatever. You do
Yeah.
that out on that boat. I bet it's dangerous.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. You will get chewed out for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably because if you don't, someone could get hurt, right? It's not just someone who wants to be mean, although
Yeah.
maybe that's. But I would imagine it's a true hazard to have people who are don't have the mindset necessary in that environment.
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Uh, I think it was mainly just because no one wanted to feel like they were doing more work than you. Everyone wanted to do the work evenly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
How you seem to escape injuries or any type of difficulties like that. Is that common or uncommon on a boat where somebody could get hurt?
It's pretty rare to get hurt on the boat, but you can definitely get hurt. Like the worst I've had was I like ripped off my fingernail pretty bad. And pretty much every day I was just covered in bruises, but you didn't really feel it because you're pumped with adrenaline all day. So yeah.
how's it make you feel as a person? Like Alaska's a pretty grand place, right?
Yeah.
And you were in a place you couldn't even really get to by car.
Hmm.
Like, did that make you think differently about things? Or does it still, or don't you think about it anymore?
At first, I was a little nervous, but I kind of just stopped caring. Like I just kind of put it to the back of my mind because worrying about it isn't going to do anything for me. It's only going to make things worse. So yeah,
It's, it's really cool. Have you talked to the captain since you've been back, or
yeah, a
is
little
it
bit.
that type of?
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah,
Have you got
yeah.
paid?
Yeah, I did. I got paid last Friday.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it's not
so
all of
you
it, but
you had to wait until last Friday to get your whole hunk of money.
I haven't gotten all my money yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
no.
but but you're not getting paid like weekly or anything like that. It's while you're on the boat,
Oh
you're
no.
you're
Yeah, no.
you're just living off whatever you guys have out there, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Yep.
gotcha. That
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If if it wasn't protein drinks or meal prep bars, I mean, I assume you ate fish sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah. So pink salmon are like dog meat, cat food meat.
Oh, I didn't
Uh,
know that.
yeah. So sometimes we catch like king salmon, uh, silver salmon, red salmon. All
Oh,
those you want to eat. Like king salmon's like that's like the primo salmon. We only caught like two of those, but we ate them every time we caught them. Uh, pretty much if we caught anything besides pink, we ate. So
Yeah, because when you have the nets out, the fish aren't told to stay away from the net if they're not a pink
yeah,
salmon, right?
yeah,
But
uh,
you're in areas that they flourish in,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
My buddy actually caught like 150-pound halibut in their net, and they had to shoot it when it was in their net because it was like thrashing around, and they're really strong. So yeah,
wow.
like you can catch other types of fish too, but it's a lot less common. Last year, my crew caught like a whale, and they had to like
Jeez.
it was a whole mess. And then there's
Because
another boat
you
this
probably
year.
just can't shoot that.
Yeah, no, no,
Wow.
yeah.
And what was
I
well,
what were you
no,
gonna
you
say?
were gonna say something else. I'm doing a terrible job as a host tonight. I keep
Uh,
interrupting.
I know there was another boat, our other friend boat. They caught like a sea lion, and they had to like chase it with a machete to get it off the deck. So
Oh my God.
yeah,
So
Wow.
you didn't have the luxury of that fun, huh?
no, unfortunately.
So question for you. Have you thought about where else you could go in the world to do some type of job after this experience? Or would it just be fishing? I don't even know what's out there. Like, could you
Uh,
go to Peru to not work in a coal mine? But is there other experiences out there, or would you just stick to fishing, even if there was?
um, I don't know.
I hope your mom doesn't hear this question.
Uh, no, I'm probably gonna try to get an internship this summer. So I need to get my internship experience up, definitely.
Couldn't you
Uh,
be an engineer on a fishing boat?
uh, no, probably not. Maybe designing sailing boats, but that's about it.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, did this experience, Abe, change your perspective on what you want to do? With your career. I mean, or is it just one of those, hey, what a cool experience. Had a good time, learned a lot, and gives you perspective and some fuel for the future. But or did it change the way you looked at career wise or education wise?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much still stuck on engineering. I know I want to do engineering. Um, it didn't really change anything about that. I have grown in, my interest in boats has increased. So I can see myself working on boats, definitely. I didn't have any experience working on boats, so I couldn't really help out that much. The most I ever did was like change an oil filter and change the oil. That's about it. So
So that's interesting. Maybe when you get your degree, you do something in marine life,
yeah,
boats.
yeah,
Uh, there's all sorts of equipment and gadgets. Maybe there's a new way you invent I'm gonna sound like an idiot, harvesting or bringing the fish up or you know
yeah.
whatever you do.
There's definitely a lot of things to improve. I think. Like I don't know. Yeah.
Did you? Was there anything they did that in your young and experienced mind you thought, why didn't we do it a different way? But you probably didn't dare
Oh
ask,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pretty much
But
every
you
day.
didn't. But you didn't ask.
Yeah. No.
What would have
Because
happened if you did ask?
uh, so when I first got there, I asked way too many questions, and one day my captain was like, "Shut up! Like, just stop." I was like, "Okay," and that was that.
Yeah, but you were the boss of what you did.
No, no, I was just called the deck boss. That's it.
I like that though. If you put that on a resume though, that would be
I
great.
actually did put that on my resume.
But you should.
Yeah.
I would think anything with that experience you put on a resume, Matt, what do you think would get Abe in a door of any interview?
No, I think it would stand out. In fact, I was having some conversations recently with some people who do some hiring, and there was a handful of us, and the one thing that was they all shared that in common for them, they were from a variety of different industries, is nobody cared about what anybody's GPA was. They could care less, but everyone cared about these types of experience. Not this.
Hmm.
This is very unique and all kind of off the charts unique. I'd say. I think something like that would get you would help get an interview so quickly because I mean, if I'm hiring and I know what you had to go through and the resilience you had to show and the fact that you couldn't quit without severe consequences and you have to
Hmm.
push through and you had to solve problems on the fly. I'm sure you were solving problems, all of you, all the
Oh yeah.
time. No one's
Yeah.
there to save your butt.
Hmm.
I mean, I'll I'll take that, but I know just talking to the folks I was talking to, it sounded like everyone would have taken that head and shoulders above. Hey, look at my 4.0 GPA. It's like, yeah, great. Now, show me who you are. That
Yeah.
was always a common thread. Show me
Hmm.
who you really are, not some grades. So, yeah, I think just from that perspective, you got something unique to talk about and stand out with.
Yeah.
I definitely would like you to come into my class anytime you're in town.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
I just got back today. I got
Oh,
back about 30 minutes ago
oh, in
before the
town?
interview. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I got back to Buffalo
Oh,
about 30
okay.
minutes before the
Okay.
interview. Yeah.
Well, cool. What would your advice be to either young Abe a couple years ago when you were a senior in high school or to any senior? Because should everybody have some sort of challenging experience like this, or what would your advice be to somebody in high school right now?
I would definitely say to just do something hard. Like it'll grow you up really quick. Uh, I don't know. Pick a
Abe, I
sport
think that's
and
fantastic advice.
hyper focus. Just do something hard. Do something you don't want to do.
And just keep doing it till you're done, right?
Mhm. Yeah, 100%.
You just gave me the title of the podcast, so I
I was gonna
Yeah,
appreciate
say, Paul, I wrote it down. I go, that's got to be the title because it's perfect.
Abe Johnson.
yeah,
Do something hard.
Yeah, I love it.
Nike came up with just do it. You might have a new clothing line now.
yeah.
Do
Maybe
something
that's a
hard.
good idea.
We'll put a
Well,
pink
or we're gonna
salmon on
steal
it,
it. Yeah.
or a plunger. Abe with a plunger.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Well, we appreciate you coming on. I mean, I sat down and had lunch with you and listened to your whole story, and maybe I'm sheltered or people don't do it anymore. I don't know many high school kids that would do that because they're too worried about what others think or the work that's involved or all the uncertainties that you face. You don't even know what you're going to get paid, or maybe listening to their mom even when they say you shouldn't go. I just don't know kids that would say, nope, I'm going to go do it. And you had no idea what to expect.
Yeah, no, I was definitely not prepared for it, but
I admire you more than you can imagine for doing that. I mean,
So
it's
do I.
thank you.
So do I.
Thank you.
Abe, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
You
Thanks,
bet. We'll
Abe.
talk soon.
Awesome. Bye.
All right, bye.